And a pleasant good day. Is Dr. Bill Loveless welcoming you to Concept. Title of our program today is We Need Each Other. No matter how long we live, no matter how wealthy we become, no matter how successful we become, no matter how famous, no matter what, we will always need each other. There are several reasons for that, and we're going to talk about those reasons today and give you an opportunity to be helpful to someone else and to give you an opportunity to accept help from someone else. If I brought a little kitten into the program today and held it here in my arm, just about this long, it would mew and everybody would say, "Isn't that cute?" And I would pet it and it would cuddle down in the warmth and it would be just very, very, very happy here. But the time would come when that little kitten would become a cat, an adult cat. And when that time came, that little kitten wouldn't know who its mother was, wouldn't know who its father was. It wouldn't matter who its father or mother. It doesn't need any other cat to survive. It can catch food, take care of itself until it gets sick and dies, or somebody eliminates it. It's totally self-sufficient. It's a totally mature cat, doesn't need any other cats to exist, only to procreate. That's all. No matter how long we live and how mature we become as human beings, it can never be said of us that we become totally self-sufficient. And that's the theme of the day. Why is this the case? Well, let's take a look and see, for instance, why this is the case. We need each other because we just cannot survive individually or as a species for very long without having somebody take care of us. Secondly, the mature must take care of the immature. That's the way it is in the human situation. The strong must take care of the weak. And the nurtured species survives. We are a nurtured species. We survive on the human emotion of tenderness. Now that's very important to keep in mind. Tenderness. Taking care of each other. The weak being taken care of by the strong. The immature by the mature. What are the deterrents? What keeps us from entering into this tenderness routine that we talk about so much? There's a lot of people do enter into it, as you know. You have probably, I certainly have. I've been the recipient of a lot of tenderness, and I hope I have given a lot of tenderness to people. But there are deterrents to tenderness in our world. And the first one we could look at would be the frenzied pace of our life. Life is so fast moving. I mean, it really isn't fast moving. You got to go to work. You got to take care of the family. You got to take care of the paycheck. You got to go to the bank. You got to this and you got to do that. It's a really fast-paced, frenzied way of living. Secondly, the pressure to get ahead. I mean, when you start college, many of you have selected a college that you hope will help usher you into a professional life of the future. I mean, you're looking 10 years down the road when you go to school. Now, high school students are looking at their college and at their high school performance. Grade school, I mean, it goes right back down. There's a pressure to get ahead. Next, there is a constant mobility. We are moving. Our society is a moving society. We're moving all the time to another city. Moving vans are all over the place. On our street, we got moving vans coming up the street every now and then. We've got some in there right now, in fact, in my community. And people are on the move. There's a lot of mobility. And this kind of cuts down on the tenderness because we don't know our neighbors like we used to. And last, the economy and the job world. I mean, that's a very interesting situation today that we're in the United States. It's been this way for a while. It's probably going to be this way for a while longer. And the economy and the job world itself dog eat dog. A lot of people have lost jobs. A lot of people are looking for jobs. And so these are all deterrents to this human emotion, tenderness, which we exhibit and which takes care of each other, which makes it possible for others to be taken care of by us and us to be taken care of by others. We never grow up. We never grow up. We retain two types of dependencies. Number one, I need to know where I belong and who I can count on. You know, no matter what happens to me, I need to know where I belong and who I can count on, and so do you. And people who don't know who they can count on and don't know where they belong are by definition very unhappy people. They haven't experienced the tenderness that comes in life that all of us enjoy. We need to know where we belong and who we can count on all the time. Next, we need to take time out from being adults and having someone else be strong for us while we are overtired. Does anybody listening to me ever get tired and say, look, Dr. Loveless, I want to check out. I'm tired of being adult. I'm tired of being mature. I'm tired. I need somebody else to check in for me while I check out. I can't take it anymore. We need somebody to be there to help us with that. When we're lonely, when we're depressed and despondent, disappointed. I mean, disappointment comes to all of us. And when we're disappointed, it's very difficult for us to get along. That disappointment takes away everything. It makes us tired. When we feel just having done something foolish, when we've done something that makes us seem really kind of ridiculous, and we know that we've done something stupid, and we're not sure what to do about that, we need somebody else to kind of chip. You know, this may have not been the best thing for you to do, but we're gonna go with this anyway, and let me help you. Let me take care of this. We go the full cycle. Parent-child, dependent, independence, independence, dependence. The full cycle. We never grow up. We remain these two kinds of dependencies. I can still remember the day. It was as clear as I sit here and talk to you from this study, that my father called me on the phone. I remember it clearly. I was 52 years old. My father had been my mentor, my father. When I needed help, I went to him. He was the guy that was there when I needed tenderness. He was the guy that was there when I wasn't fully grown up. He was the guy that was there when I was tired and needed somebody to talk to. He was the guy that when I did something stupid, I could call him and talk to him. In other words, he was the tender guy. My mother, of course, was too. But my dad called me on the phone at the age of 52 and said, Bill, Mother and I are going to be retiring. And we're not sure where we should retire. Wow. I mean, that hit me beside the head. I couldn't believe. This was a switch. I had been calling my father and my mother, and primarily my father, all my life. Say, Dad, what do you think about this car? What do you think about this girl? What do you think about this school? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? I was dependent on him, even when I was an adult, in my 50s. And all of a sudden one day, it dawned on me how much we need each other, that we never, ever grow up. We never become self-sufficient. We never come to the place where we don't know each other and help each other And I said to my father, Dad, you know, I haven't thought about this. Let me talk with my wife, and we'll give you some feedback. We're not sure. I've never really thought about this before. And all of a sudden, at that simple time in life, there was a transition. The dependence on and the support of became a different ball game. I now was being sought out by my adult parent for counsel, for help. Many of you watching me have had this happen to you. And you know how different it feels to kind of roll along through life thinking that, you know, it's going to go like this forever. There's never going to be any change. I always have my parents to depend on. Then one of them gets sick and dies, or they decide to retire or move. Everything changes. That's the big reason why we need each other. Now let's look at what it means to grow up. You know, you keep hearing your parents say, hey, why don't you grow up? Well, what are they talking about? What does it mean to grow up? Well, number one, it means I learn to ask for what I need. Now that's an interesting thing to say. I learned to ask for what I need. Doesn't everybody know what they need? No, not everybody knows what they need. I'm a counselor, and I ask people all the time, what do you need from each other? What do you want from each other? Oh, I don't know. So when we really grow up, we start learning to ask for what we need from other people and from each other. This is an important lesson in life, to be able clearly and unambiguously to say, here's what I need from you, in detail, in specific details. Don't assume that somebody else can read your mind or they automatically know what you need because you need it and you feel it very keenly. Not good enough. So when we grow up, or when we're growing up, we are in touch with our needs, and we're able to ask clearly for what we need. Secondly, I learned to say no quietly. The operative word in that sentence is quietly. I need to say no, not yelling it. I need to say no, and actually sometimes yes. You might say I need to say no and yes quietly. Carefully, I can answer no, I'm sorry. That's not for me. No, I don't like that. No, I won't go there. Quietly. Number three, I am in touch with my thoughts and feelings. When you grow up, one of the ways to tell is that you are in touch with your thoughts and your feelings. That is to say, you're able to monitor what's going on inside yourself. You're able to say, well, here's how I'm feeling. Here's what I think I ought to do about it. I'm in touch with my thoughts and feelings. I make choices to monitor my thoughts and feelings and what I express. And that's why I said saying no quietly is very important, because when we monitor our thoughts and feelings, we know what they are, and we start taking care of ourselves better and taking care of other people better, then we are in touch with our thoughts and feelings. We're able to express our thoughts and feelings in very helpful ways to facilitate the growth of other people as we facilitate our growth as adults in touch with my thoughts and my feelings. I am able and willing to enter into helping relationships. I am so pleased with the teenagers and the early teen young people that I talk with on a regular basis. I am so pleased that many of them have caught on to the fact that service, that helping old people, helping schools, helping churches, and helping in the community is a very, very helpful and important thing for them. And they look forward to it, and they volunteer for all kinds of things. When we are grown up, when we grow up, it means we're able and willing to enter into helping relationships with institutions and with other people in our city. In other words, the ability to help and the ability to see a need for help and the ability to move in and do that help is a very, very important part of growing up. And one of the important things that I close with this important list is I am able to serve. I am able to serve. I do this, and last, I can forgive. When people really are grown up, they are able to serve, they are able to forgive. It's kind of the mark of a mature or a maturing person. I am able to forgive. Will you forgive me? And I will forgive you. To ask forgiveness and to offer forgiveness then become a very basic part of what it means to grow up. These are the important components, in my estimation, that tell us when we're growing. Now, as I said, we never grow up. We always need each other. That's because we never totally mature, and those are the reasons why. Those are the big reasons why. Let's take a look now at another phenomenon that is very true of all of us. Certainly it's the case with me. Throughout life, we remain puzzled about ourselves. Number one, where do I fit in? Where do I fit in? You know, no matter how much we think we fit, and no matter how secure we are, we're always asking the question, one way or another, where do I fit? Now, when this toddler goes to nursery school, first day, yikes, where do I fit in? Who's here that I know? What's familiar about this place? Where do I fit in? Key question. When I start school, first grade, I go to school. First day, mother, dad goes with me. All these strange faces. Where do I fit in? I mean, this is a real puzzling question. Go to a high school. I talk with high schoolers, teenagers quite a bit, and young adults. Where do I fit in? I mean, even to go to a hospitality function, most girls won't go by themselves. They have to have somebody go with them. When I talk with young people in college, a lot of them have problems. Where do I fit in here? Where's the food service? Will somebody go with me? I don't want to sit by myself. All our lives, we remain puzzled about ourselves. Where do I fit in? Who is going to help me? Am I going to belong? How am I going to know I belong? Who's going to give me the clues as to what to do here that's appropriate so I don't do something really stupid? And the second characteristic is, what shall I do here? I went to a social function a few years ago in another city, and while I was there to speak, The program chairman came to me and I asked her a question. I said, you know, I've noticed that a few of the ladies here have hats on, and this is not a culture now that wears hats. I haven't seen hats, formal hats, except at weddings and at church sometimes, for a long time. Oh, she says, the people with hats on are officers in this organization. Oh, I said, okay. Then I know that they are officers because they have hats on, and that's how they identify themselves to each other. I'm an officer. I'm the president or vice president or so on of this organization. That kind of defines what you ought to do. So these are the kind of puzzling things that we have that remain all about ourselves. Number 3, what are the expectations and the rules here? What are the expectations and the rules here? We always need somebody else to spell those out for us. We never, ever really know what the rules are here. So we remain puzzled. Somebody has to say, well, you know, you don't do that here. You don't say that here. You don't ask that question here. And that's something we don't do here. And this is always a very crucial part of our life. And next, to whom can I voice my doubts about life and myself? I mean, I don't really know what's going on. Would you please help me? I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of doubts about what I'm doing and how well I'm doing. We look at our work supervisors and we look at our associates at a job and at school and everywhere else we go. And we need each other because we need questions answered about ourselves and about how we're doing. These are very, very important aspects. And last but not least, who makes me feel I'm cared about here? Who are my friends? I mean, who likes me? Who will talk to me? Oh my goodness, yeah, one of the cruelest parts of our society are teenagers. Teenagers are just beginning to go into an adult concern, a whole set of adult concerns. Who am I? What am I all about? These are real questions that teenagers have. And they need someone to help them feel cared about. That's what teachers and parents are supposed to be doing. Because throughout life, we remain puzzled about ourselves all the time. We become adults by selective development in school and at work, in our personal lives. We develop selectively, you know, a carpenter isn't a plumber, or a plumber isn't a physicist. In school, we have all kinds of majors. At work, we have all kinds of different jobs. In our personal life, we have all kinds of different preferences. All of these things are very, very different. And we need help from each other. Plumbers need physicists, and mathematicians need cooks, and so on down the line. When I was a college president, I would sit at commencement oftentimes and watch the people march in with their robes and gowns and hoods and everything on. I thought to myself, you know, I bet that history teacher can't make a decent pumpkin pie. He probably couldn't. His wife probably could. We pride ourselves in knowing so much about so little. But when it comes right down to it, we all grow selectively, and there's a lot of areas that we really don't know much about. We survive on the emotion of tenderness. The emotion of tenderness is exhibited by warmth and affection. After all I've said about growing up, tenderness, the emotion of survival, you and I survive on the basis of people who show us tenderness and affection. The question I'm raising to you today is, how much tenderness and affection do you show to your family, to your children, to your friends, to your co-workers, to your fellow members in class. Remember, all of these settings are settings in which people are wondering, how am I doing? Will I really ever make it? Am I doing the wrong thing? Am I saying the wrong thing? Am I somehow alienating people around me? And, you know, no matter how long we live, no matter how self-sufficient we become or we think we become, no matter how wealthy we become, we never, ever totally grow up. And because we will never totally grow up and become mature in every part of our life, we always need that survival emotion of tenderness. And that survival emotion of tenderness is exhibited by warmth and affection and by patience, and let's laugh at each other, by amusement. Affection, warmth, patience, and yes, let's laugh together. Let's laugh at each other. Now, be careful what you laugh at when you're laughing at somebody else. It may not be funny ha-ha to them, and so when you do that, you need to be very careful. But these are the survival emotions: tenderness, affection, patience, and amusement. This is what makes us helpers of each other. And because we are helpers of each other, we always will need each other. I will need you, and you will need me. I will need my family and friends. My family and friends will need me, because we never grow up. We never outgrow the need for the warmth of tenderness, the warmth of affection, and the warmth of patience, and the warmth of amusement and laughter. Remember what I say. Don't try to be perfect, because no matter how hard you try, you never can be. But do try to do better. That all of us can do.